Good morning, warriors. Hey, I am Holly Wade with Holly Wade Wellness. Thanks so much for joining this morning. Today's my favorite topic, stress and how that impacts our gut. Here comes my pup. So you're going to hear his little dog tags. How many of you have ever felt butterflies in your belly? Yep, that's anxiousness, right? We feel a little anxious. Or if something happens, you just feel this kind of a drop and you feel sick to your stomach when you hear some news. Um, those are all things. So this is part of your gut being the second brain, again, processing emotion. But this sensation that we feel communicates with our brain. So we get these feelings in our gut, right? Now, our gut is full of serotonin and dopamine. I don't know if you knew that. Actually, you'll have as much serotonin and dopamine in your belly as you do in your brain. And what's really cool is that we have this vagus nerve connecting the brain and the gut, the intestines, the brain and the gut, and it acts as this highway of information. So scientists used to think that our brain controlled all of it and would send signals to the body. But now what they understand is that when the microbiome of the gut changes, which it will change with those moods, or when you are low on dopamine or low on serotonin in your gut, it will send a signal to your brain. And then you have this cascade of other reactions from your body to try to bring things back into balance. So it works both ways, is the point. How cool is that? Now, here's something else. When we are stressed, when we are under stress, there might be a reason that some of you crave sugar. It ties to stress, to your gut. Who knew? Well, what happens when we're stressed is our blood flow goes to our muscles. It moves away from the organs, more to our muscles so that we can go into fight or flight, right? We get this surge of energy, we get this surge of cortisol, this surge of adrenaline. Well, what's required is carbohydrate. I mean, it's a big surge of energy that's required there. And so there's a reason that your brain then is craving sugar when you're stressed. It's not just lack of discipline, it's also biological and part of survival. It just is what it is. But that's where we can understand that this isn't a threat on my life. So rather than grabbing the ice cream, I can fuel with something different. So now, what can we do? So stress definitely impacts the gut. It impacts the gut in ways where it changes the microbiome. Microbiome and the brain are in communication. The vagus nerve is the highway between the two. Now, it's not just physical. Remember, it's also emotional. So we have to process and digest emotion. We talked about that on Tuesday. So we have to process and digest emotion as well, which means feel it. Take the time to feel it instead of running from it, instead of fighting it, instead of avoiding it. We have to take that time to let it process. Now, when you're stressed, how many of you notice bowel changes? So in other words, some of you might have diarrhea, some people might have more constipation, or you just might be irregular. For me, I get constipated until that thing passes and then my gut relaxes and everything's back to normal. That's also part of it. So the nervous system in our gut will spasm or will kind of I don't know what to say. It's not necessarily a spasm, but it'll just kind of create a holding pattern, and allow for one or the other reaction. Every human is a little bit different, So I have friends who go the other way, but I hold. I hold everything right here. That may explain some things for you. It's the way it is. So, what can we do? There are things we can do. We can deep breathe. Learn that yoga breath where your diaphragm is expanding and softening, and then learn to relax. Learn to relax the digestive system, learn to relax your muscles, learn to relax your organs. Because when we're in a state of relaxation, that's when our body is processing in harmony, in balance. It's when we're under distress that we create dis-ease in the body if we don't allow it to come back to normal, back to balance, back to homeostasis. So deep breathing, working through those emotions. Just let yourself feel it. As uncomfortable as it is, let yourself have the difficult conversation. As uncomfortable as it is, let yourself go through that discomfort. The sooner the better, because everything will just kind of come back to normal once you've done it. And you'll realize the little trick to the brain is that your brain starts to go, oh, I've done that. I can do that again. And the more of those things that you have filed away in your brain, the less you feel this when those times come. The what ifs, but I don't know if I can do that. So the more you practice it, the more confident you become, quite literally. Your nervous system will respond accordingly. You get to strengthen it. Now there's this other little trick to help the vagus nerve. So our vagus nerve will weaken, or if we've experienced trauma, it stores it. And there are some things that we can do to help it heal. So one is to sing or to hum. There's a reason that we om in yoga. So it creates this vibration at the vagus nerve and could create some healing. So let's just try it. No one cares. No one cares. So let's just try it, and you're going to feel that vibration. So take a big breath in and a big om. For as long as you can. Then you should feel a little something. And the reason I was patting my belly is because you want it to come from the diaphragm, not just from the throat. It'll go longer. And you want that reverberation. So singing, humming, oming, and that deep breathing, but it's a deep breathing where you sound like Darth Vader. We call it an ocean breath in my yoga breath certification, but it's kind of a back in the throat. And it's like you're, like on a mirror. It's like you're blowing on a mirror to fog it up, but you close your mouth. So it's that kind of a thing. But those things all will help. They're activities that will help strengthen your vagus nerve, strengthen your nervous system, and help to create that resilience in your body. Now, the last thing that I'll address, because I did talk about our thoughts can drive this feeling inside of us. So our brain is really great at making up stories and storylines and recalling past events and going, oh, but remember? And so it brings up all of this flood of emotion again. The more we learn to just be, to let those thoughts go and just let it be a thought, the more we learn to only pay attention or discern which thoughts need our attention and just let the others go, the more our body can stay in a state of calm. The practice is meditation. There's no way around it. You can do guided. I am getting to the point where I prefer not to do guided personally. I prefer to allow myself to work through it. And so what that means is I'm just going to practice feeling peace internally. I heard a woman explain something just the other day, and I was like, oh my gosh, I love how she said that. And she said that it's about having peace, that the safe place is inside of us, especially right now with everything going on in the world, the external that's happening. The safe place is inside of us. That is our place of peace. Well, it's not if you're not okay with your body. It's not if your mind is running the show. It's not if you haven't learned how to let things go inside of your body and to create that space internally that is peaceful. And it comes with practice. It took me quite a while, probably 2 years straight of practicing meditation to be able to get to a place where I could be. Now, that being said, there are still times when I'm feeling something and I don't want to face it. Now, the other little trick that I've learned is because we can chase, well, what's causing this? What created this? What blah, 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 blah. And I'm not sure that that does us any good, because it means we have to keep reliving that traumatic experience or that story in our mind. I've kind of come to this place of, all right, in order to feel peace internally, I start with my heart. My heart is that place of emotions. And I can choose, do I want joy? Do I want love? Do I want calm? Do I want... There's all kinds of those kinds of emotions. So as we're feeling ick here, what we do is think of the Grinch, his heart expanded 2 sizes. We're going to expand that heart completely into the 6-foot bubble, because I don't know if you're aware of this, but our heart space, the electromagnetic field from our heart, goes 6 feet around us, every direction. So we're always in this bubble of 6 feet. And we can create this. It's internal, and then it moves external. And so we can create this sense of peace or love or joy. And the more we do that, the more this shifts. And the more we know how to shift it. Because my belief is that light penetrates the dark all the time. So whatever that emotion is, feel it, work through it. Don't just stuff. And let's let love, light, peace, harmony, joy transmute it. So let's just practice what that might look like, or feel like. Go ahead and get comfortable. Close your eyes. It doesn't matter if you're seated, doesn't matter if you're lying down, but focus on your heart. Notice your heart. Notice this little warm feeling around your heart space. Notice your heartbeat. Let's just notice the emotion of joy, the feeling of joy. Notice that sensation. Notice what that feels like in your heart, because every emotion changes the electromagnetic signal or wave in your heart. They're all just a little different and a little unique. So let's just sit in joy, literally. Now, as your heart beats, it's sending blood with nutrients and oxygen to every cell. And it's not just feeding them the physical nutrients and oxygen, it's also feeding the emotion. So notice every cell in your body starting to also pick up joy. And it just continues to expand so that every tissue, every organ in your body is dancing in joy. Now let that start to ooze out of your body and expand into that 6-foot field in all directions. And it really truly is safe here. This is where you're one with God. This is where you are in this space of just being, feeling whole, feeling fully alive. Go ahead and just place a hand on your heart. That heart is so good. Take a big, deep, full breath in. Let it go. And again, take a big, deep, full breath in. Let it go. Last time. Then open your eyes when you're ready. So our gut and stress, they do go hand in hand. What we eat impacts the microbiome. The microbiome impacts what's going on in the brain. When we're stressed, we're going to crave sugar. We're going to crave carbohydrate because that's the fuel that our body needs when we are in that. So eat those carbs, but eat the high quality carbs. So go for an apple. Go for a banana. Banana is actually a really good one to go for when you're in that state. And keep practicing toning that vagus nerve and shifting your body into these states, starting with your heart, that heart coherence. Now, if you have questions, if there's anything that I missed, please ask away. If there's something that you're like, oh yeah, but what about this? Please ask away. And if you're starting to go, wow, I maybe could use a little assistance with whatever the skill may be, then please reach out and let's get on a call. They're free. I have free 30-minute calls just to help you get your breakthrough and get you going. So please, please, please use those. My hair dryer is gone today. So it is what it is. But hey, have a great day, everyone. Let's go create health. This is how we do it. We have to shift things and take personal responsibility for how we feel, for what we put into our bodies, for what we put on our bodies. And this is how we start to change health in a bigger scale. Have a great day.